What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. That's actually the first time I've said that in quite a long time, but don't worry, I'm back. If you're wondering where I've been, well, actually, it's been about 3 weeks, I think, since I actually recorded a video for this channel. I went to Canada for 2 weeks with my family on an amazing holiday, and I pre-recorded a lot of content for that. And then since coming back, I've had to do loads and loads of football content. You may not know this, but I actually run another YouTube channel called Fantasy Football Hub. And the Premier League, if you're a football fan, you'll know, soccer fan, is about to start. So that's been absolutely hectic. But don't worry, I'm back and I'm excited to be back. Today I've got a great story for you. And you're going to absolutely love it. By the way, in future, if you'd like to keep up to date with what's going on in my personal life, the best way of doing that is on my Instagram. I will link that down below. But yeah, if you want to know what I'm up to sort of day to day outside of recording videos and episodes, then follow me over there. Without further ado, hope you're well. Let's get into this insane story. Me and my boyfriend of 3 years just had our first baby. We're white and our baby is black. I have a close black ancestor, but my significant other is furious and is accusing me of cheating. This was posted back in 2015. As the title says, me and my boyfriend just had our first baby. I'm 26, he is 29. We were over the moon when we discovered the pregnancy, and we were both really excited to have a child together. We wanted to get married next year, and everything was going great. We were happy. We both look very white. We've got pale skin, blue eyes, brown and blonde hair. However, my great-great-grandpa was black, and some of his features have popped up here and there in our family. Kinky hair, darker skin, more black-looking facial characteristics. My boyfriend knows this, and has seen some of my aunts and uncles and cousins who have these features. I, however, don't have any myself, and neither does my mum. Our daughter was born 5 days ago, and I guess she got all the dormant genes in me because she's really dark-skinned compared to us, with really curly hair. I think she's adorable, but my significant other flipped. He accused me of cheating, that the baby couldn't possibly be his. I've never given him a reason to suspect me of infidelity, and I've certainly never cheated. We argued about it. I pointed at all my cousins and other relatives who have black features, but he absolutely refused to listen. Said our daughter looked, quote, too black for that to be a plausible explanation. He stormed out of the hospital, sent me a text an hour later that we were over, and when I got home from the hospital the next day, he wasn't there, and most of his personal belongings were gone. I tried to reach him, but he didn't answer my calls or texts until 3 days later when he told me he demanded a paternity test to prove that I was a liar. And if I refuse, I'll never see him again. I'm completely broken down and hurt over this. Our entire relationship, he's been so sweet and rational. This is completely unlike him. If he'd just calmly asked for a paternity test to begin with, I would have been hurt, but I guess I could understand the concerns. Our daughter does look nothing like him. But I don't think our relationship can survive this, even when I proved to him I wasn't lying. Should I go through with the test, or just cut my losses here and raise her alone? Okay, wow, what a return for me, back on the channel, back on Reddit. I expect nothing less. First things first, I completely get what you're saying, OP, because it's not the fact that the baby doesn't look particularly maybe exactly how you expected her to look. It's more the reaction from your boyfriend, which is the really, really damning thing. If I were you, well, it's a completely personal decision. I think maybe I would go through with it. You know, if you're 100% sure that, obviously you are, that it's your baby and it's his baby, then yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with doing it and then showing him the results and then gauging his reaction from that. And maybe that could help you sort of, begin to recover this relationship. Maybe it wouldn't, but I think you might as well go through with it. It's not really that arduous anyway. But those are my thoughts. Let's see what the people of Reddit had to say. Somebody said, that is your decision to make. However, in your situation, I'd do the paternity test either way. If you decide to leave him, it's a nice big F you to him. And if you decide to stay, he gets his peace of mind. It's a win-win situation, really. Exactly what I was saying, to be fair. I'd be hurt as F if my SO accused me of cheating, even though I've never shown any signs of it. However, I don't know how I'd react if I had a white girlfriend and the baby came out black. This is probably a 1 in a million type of situation, so I really can't say anything else about this. That's a very valid point, and I put myself in that situation. There is no doubt about it. As much as I'd like to say right now, sitting here, that I wouldn't have any doubts at all, I would. It's just a fact. I don't know how I'd react, but I would definitely have doubts. Somebody else said, you're going to actually need the DNA test for child support, so you may as well get one now. What you choose to do about the relationship is up to you, but you're going to need the child support. Great point. Opie replied saying, yeah, I've been so caught up in this whole drama and taking care of my baby, I hadn't even thought about child support. You're right. I'll get the test done, if only to make sure baby gets the best life possible. And Opie actually left an edit on the first post saying, I decided to get the test done. I'll update you all when I get the results. I'm still angry, but I guess I understand him a bit better now. Somebody else said, people are surprisingly ignorant of how genetics work. Anyway, get the paternity test just for his peace of mind, but understand that your relationship is irreparably broken and that he may sadly never show your daughter the sort of love or affection a father should show his child. This is a heartbreaking situation. I feel most for the baby, and you of course, but that little girl is going to face a lot of challenges in life looking like a black child to white parents. Talk to your more black-looking relatives about this and do research on how to talk to your daughter about her ancestry and prepare her for some of the more stupid, bigoted, ridiculous things that people are bound to say. Opie replied saying, yeah, I imagine things are going to be hard for her, but at least she has a loving mum and a family who can relate to her. I just hope my boyfriend, well, my ex, I don't even know anymore, will come around and treat her with the respect he couldn't afford to give to me. Opie also added a little bit more information just on her family history, so let's have a look at this before we get into the update which came 5 days later. 4 generations back, my great-grandma and all her siblings look really black. My grandma less so. My mum's generation is the first to have completely white-looking kids. And I don't think so, but my friends joke that my butt is so big I must have inherited that. But I don't think big butts are an actual racial trait, just more of a stereotype. There are plenty of white girls with big booties. I actually also just want to say one more point before we get into this update. I saw a TikTok or something the other day. I was just looking through like funny kids TikTok videos. Like toddlers TikTok videos, because I don't know, I saw one, I thought it was funny, just like random stuff that toddlers say when they have no filter. It's very amusing. Anyway, so what the situation was a mother had just had a baby with a new step parent, I suppose, who is black, and her kid from another man had come into the whatever you call it, the hospital, saw the baby, and like said off the cuff, like randomly, oh my gosh, I knew it wasn't going to be black. Like it was I mean, this is me saying this, it sounds a bit weird, but it was like a 2-year-old saying it. It was funny. Anyway, some of the comments there were saying, although it was very funny, and you'd have to see it to understand the humor, but trust me, it was funny. The dad burst out laughing. It was funny. They were saying, because the baby was actually, or looked pretty white in this video, they were saying, just you wait. Because melanin takes a while to develop in babies, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't actually know that, but yeah, I think that black babies actually often are born without the skin color that they're going to end up having, which I didn't really know. Now, I don't know how relevant that is to this example, as it's sort of potentially the other way around. Well, not the other way around. Your baby is just already dark. But the point is there a chance that your baby's skin color will change and your baby will turn out to look more like you and your husband down the line? I think, yeah. You don't just immediately have the genetics from your parents that are present and very obvious to see, I don't think anyway. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that down below. Let's get into the update. First of all, I want to thank all the original commenters who helped me see my SO side and calm me down enough to take the test. Well, the results are in, and of course, she's his. The whole process was actually absolutely ridiculous. I got an appointment with the doctor and texted my boyfriend the time and location. He didn't answer, but he showed up, and the entire time he didn't say one word to me, and he didn't want to touch or even look at our baby. And he left as soon as they'd taken his sample, despite the doctor asking him to stay so we could go over a few things. Once he left, I just broke down. And I must say, the doctor was really nice. They didn't judge me or accuse me of anything, just calmly went over how the test works and told me that babies are often born darker than they actually end up being. Wow, was I actually right for once? I'm actually pretty happy with that. Okay, baby was an absolute champ, barely fussed when they drew her blood. I got the results yesterday. I texted my boyfriend the news and I asked if he wanted to come over and open it with me. After almost half an hour, he finally responded, yes, he'd like to come over. I'm thinking he either sent it while on his way or he's not staying very far away because he was here in about 15 minutes. Well, we opened it and read the positive test together. He turned white like a sheet and then just started bawling. I had to shush him because he was crying so loudly. And finally, I got an explanation for his flip out. I mentioned in a comment on the old post that he was an only child to very old parents. His dad died a few years ago and his mum lives alone a few hours drive from us. I've not met her often, but she seemed pleasant enough. Well, it turns out she hates me, absolutely hates my guts and always has. I had no idea about this. She's always acted kind of snobby, sure, but I had no idea she disliked me this much. When my SO called her to tell her the good news 8 months back when we discovered the pregnancy, she started crying. He never told me this. And as the months passed, she continued being super negative about the whole thing and saying she doubted the baby was actually his. I was below them. Poor people cheat because they're raised in an effed up environment. What the F? And instead of talking to me about this, my SO kept silent while constantly doubting me more and more. The baby being black just put the final nail in the coffin that his mother was right and I was a good-for-nothing, cheating female dog. After telling me all of this, we just sat in silence for a while. Finally, he asked if he could hold our baby. I was still angry as heck, but decided that holding her was his right. He's her father after all. I went and got her from her crib, let him have her, and he started crying again, which scared her, and she started crying too. So they were just sitting there bawling together for a while. Finally, he stopped, handed her back, and asked if he could come home. I was kind of taken aback. I didn't expect him to just flat out ask that already. I laid out everything I said in the last thread, how insanely disrespectful and childish he's been, how he'd horribly broken my trust, hadn't talked to me about his mum's poisonous and ignorant comments, completely ignores me for 3 days, not telling me where he is or if he's even alive, and then he just waltzes in and wants to start living here again? I told him if he ever wanted to have some inkling of a chance of mending the relationship we had, to go to couples therapy ASAP. From now on, he will answer my calls and messages unless there's an emergency. He will not be staying here for a while. And finally, he needs to tell his mum to back the F off. She won't be seeing the baby until she apologizes to me in person. He immediately agreed and finally told me how sorry he was for this whole fiasco. I'm not sure if I can forgive him for this, but I'm going to try. We had an amazing life before this, and I hope that with a lot of work we can have it again. My SO also finally told me he was staying in a hostel, but it's not very expensive, so he can stay there for a while longer. Our baby's doing great considering how many stress hormones she must have been drinking from me these last few days. Her hair is falling out, but the doctor told me it was normal, and babies often lose most or all the hair they're born with. I'm hoping her new hair will grow in blonde. That would make her even cuter. Thank you all for your help on the last post. My mum agreed with many of you and thinks I'm absolutely nuts for trying to work things out, but I think it would be best for everyone if we at least give it a shot, especially our baby. Yeah, I think that's a great point. The easiest thing to do would be to get back with your SO, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst thing to do. I don't think it's like the easy way out. It may just be the best thing. So at least try that first. Then if you want to down the line, you can take the hard route of completely breaking up, moving out, eventually having to find a new partner if you want to do that, etc., like raising your kid in a split family. It's easier to just try it with him first and see how that goes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about this guy. I'm inclined to agree with your mum, and we've had like guys especially like this on the channel before in stories similar to this, where they're just so spineless. Really? Like, just because your mum has been whispering in your ear for the last 8 months that the person that you fell in love with and have decided to have a baby with is actually like not the person you thought they were, in her opinion, you then change your entire opinion because of that. I don't think that is right, and I think that says a lot about his character personally. So use that information, I think, just as much as everything else that's happened. And yeah, I don't know what I'd do in this situation. I think I would try and get back with him and see how that goes, but I would struggle to look at him the same way again, knowing that he's just listened to this absolute trash from his mum for the past 8 months, and that's changed his whole opinion on you and his baby. But guys, this is where you come in. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. I like that story. It was good, and it's good to be back. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much. It's not been that long. It's probably been like a week since the last episode on the channel. For me, it's been like 3 weeks. It's probably been the longest I've not recorded an episode since I started making videos on this channel, what, 6.5 years ago? Wow, it's been a long time. But yeah, I'm back, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you very soon with another couple of Reddit stories.